Hello, everyone, and welcome to Amazing Women and Men of Power, the world's leading positive programming network powered by Raven International. Hey, that's me. We call it AWAPtalk247.com. Hey, the man is here. He is here. I'm so excited. We interviewed him before on Don't Wait to Be Great. Today, we're going to be talking to him about making that breakthrough experience. Who is him? Well, I'm glad you asked. His name is Dr. John Demartini. You know him from one of the stars in The Secret. Yes, he helps people, whether it's personal or business, make that transformation and finally make that breakthrough. Best-selling author, speaker, trainer, movie star, and all-around cool guy, Dr. John Demartini. Dr. Demartini, thank you for coming on again. Amazing Women of Power. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
And to all of you, future MD, and all the different people that's been in and out, I know people will be listening to the replay. We have people on Periscope. I put the link in. You can come on over to Blab, and this way we're going to open it up for seats for questions later. I know people are saying they're coming in and out, but we're going to focus right now on doing a great interview and helping you guys make a breakthrough. Now, Dr. Demartini, I truly believe people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. So I know everybody knows you now, but not too many people know, including me, what was going on before the Dr. John Demartini days. Can you share a little bit, clip note version of your story?
You mean when I was young?
Yeah, well, you can start there if you like. We definitely want to know what led you to be the inspirational, motivational, empowering speaker and trainer that you are now, and why breakthroughs?
Well, I was born with my arm and leg turned in. Ooh. And had to wear braces as a child. Mm. And because of those braces, when I turned 4, I begged my dad to let me out of them. And he said, if I keep my arm and leg straight, I can do it. If not, he's got to put me back in them. Mm. So I would just want to be free. And I really believe that those braces were a catalyst for me to want to travel the world and be free and not be constrained. Mm. So I always say that everything's on the way, not in the way. And anything you can't say thank you for is baggage. Anything you can say thank you for is fuel.
Yeah.
And I can say thank you for that start, even though at the time it seemed challenging. Then when I got to first grade, I had learning problems. I had dyslexia. I had already been going to speech pathology because of my pronunciation and dyslexia. And so I ended up having problems in class and was told by the first grade teacher, who put me first in normal reading and then remedial reading and then finally into the dunce cap class. I'm afraid your son will never be able to read or write or communicate, never amount to things, never go very far in life. So I barely made it through school. And the way I made it through school is by asking kids, what did they learn today? And ask them what they learned. And that taught me how important it is to ask questions in life, because the quality of your life is based on the quality of the questions in life. Then my parents, when I turned to age 12, they moved from Houston, Texas to Richmond, Texas. And I didn't have a bunch of smart kids to ask questions to, and I failed and I dropped out of school. Oh. So I started hanging out on the streets and living in the street kid from about 13 or so to 18. And that led me to California. I left and hitchhiked to California when I was 14 and eventually make it to Hawaii to go surfing. And I lived, first under a bridge, then in a park bench, then in a park bathroom, and then abandoned car, and eventually a tent. So I was a social climber at age 16, 17, 15. Oh. And then I nearly died at age 17. And in the recovery from that, because of strychnine poisoning and cyanide poisoning, in the recovery of that, I was led to a little health food store, and from there led to a yoga class to try to regain control of my body. And there I met Paul Bragg, who is a longevitist, a naturopath, an inspired man who helped initiate health food stores across America. Mm. And in one night, 1 hour with one message, my life changed. He inspired me that night to believe that I could possibly be intelligent, overcome my learning problems. And that night is when I decided I wanted to be intelligent, and I wanted to learn how to read. I wanted to learn how to speak properly, and I wanted to be a teacher because I thought teachers were intelligent. And that was the beginning of my teaching career 43 years ago. And I set that mind that night. I said, I want to be a teacher. I want to study the laws of the universe. I want to travel the world. I want to step foot in every country on the face of the earth. And I want to share whatever I discover that can help myself and others do extraordinary things. I want to share that. Well, 43 years later, here I am traveling around the world, and I'm just as inspired today doing what I do as I was the day I met him. And I can't tell you,
Wow.
I love it. I just got through speaking to Keller Williams Corporation just a few minutes ago. I just walked in the door, and now I get to speak with you and all the people who's listening. So I'm doing what I dreamed about, and I'm absolutely certain that people can do that with their lives. And I love helping people find out what it is they love to do and get focused and get prioritized and get into action to make it happen, because there's no reason why we can't do extraordinary lives.
Get focused, get prioritized, and get into action. That's the key, folks. Really, we're going to dive deep into that, and with his principles on how you can make through experience. And then stay tuned, because he does a 2-day breakthrough experience, and he will talk about that as well. I want to welcome everyone to Amazing Women and Men of Power in the studios here of Raven International Media Productions. Hi to all my Periscopers. You are looking at the screen here. This is Dr. Demartini. Thank you so much for the hearts. I will be facing you toward the screen, but I'm not ignoring you. I love you very much. But you don't want to see me. You want to see this guy, and you want to listen. If you want to come over to Blab, because I will open it up for questions, just there's a link right there. Just follow in there, okay? And you can come over. You can also share us by tapping that little man and share us and get some more people over here as well. Thank you for sharing, Out of Trust. Thank you. Out of Trust. Thank you. And come on over to Blab so you guys can ask some questions in about 40 minutes when we open it up for Q&A. Dr.John Demartini from The Secret. Now I'm talking to Amazing Women of Power and the Blabbers. I know you're going to be listening to the replay of this. This is Dr. John Demartini, one of the stars from The Secret. He is very well known for helping people take their personal and professional, make the transformation they need and but finally get the breakthrough that they so deserve. And that's one of the keys, Dr. Demartini. They got to realize that they deserve to have this, right? A lot of people are struggling with self-worth. What are some tips you can pass on where people can start feeling more worthy of having the success?
Well, every individual, conscious or unconsciously, lives by a set of priorities, a set of values, things that are most important to least important in their life. Whenever they set goals that are aligned and congruent with their highest values, their self-worth goes up. They're spontaneously inspired from within to achieve them. They don't need to be reminded or motivated from the outside. They are more objective. They tend to persist on their goals. They tend to achieve them. They tend to wake up their natural born leader, their natural genius. And so it's so crucial to identify the hierarchy of their values and set goals that are really, truly aligned with what's most important. Because whenever you do, you don't let yourself down. Your self-worth goes up. Your confidence goes up. Your willingness and permission to go and do even more extraordinary things continue to expand. Their space and time horizons expand, and they give themselves permission to do something even more extraordinary with their life. And if they set goals that are somebody else's, and they inject the values of others, which cloud them, and they subordinate to others, compare themselves to others, and try to envy others and try to imitate others, they'll lose themselves. They'll live by lower values, and they'll shrink, and they'll need motivation constantly, and they'll beat themselves up. And they'll have the internal anger and aggression, internal blame and feelings of betrayal, internal criticism and challenge, internal despair and depression, internal desire to exit and escape life. And the ABCDEs of negativity are the result of not living authentically according to what's really important. So knowing what's really important and setting goals that are congruent with that liberate people from the self-depreciation and give themselves appreciation to do extraordinary things. So the key is in knowing what's really important and setting goals that are congruent with it.
Knowing what's important and setting goals. That is so pertinent. Okay, so you get clients all over the world. What do you feel is their biggest challenge? Let's talk about the personal side first, because we got to get the personal side right. A lot of times that's what's keeping us from getting the business side right, because we haven't taken care of the personal. So for someone that's been stuck in their rut, they've had a lot of life happenings, and they just, kind of lost their belief level or, the self-worth, as we talked about. What are some things other than setting goals and stuff that you recommend to help them, move past that pain to their power so they can live their life on purpose?
There's two things. There's one, a change in perception. Another one is change in actions. The first one is the actions. It's wise to make a list of everything that they do in a day, everything in a typical day.
Okay.
And then to prioritize it according to what is most productive, what is most meaningful, what produces the most income, what serves the most people. And then next to that, put down what is the replacement cost. If you had to have somebody do that for you, what would it cost? And then the next one is how much time you spend on it. Because if you don't prioritize your life and fill your day with high priority actions that inspire you, it will automatically fill up with low priority distractions that don't. That's the law of entropy, the law of Parkinson's law. So if you don't fill your day with inspiring challenges, it will fill up with despairing challenges. If you don't fill your day with things that bring order, it will fill up with disorder. If you don't fill your mind like a garden and plant flowers in the mind, you're going to pull weeds. So you have to be able to concentrate on what is really most important and fill your day with that from an action perspective. And then find somebody you can delegate lower priority actions to, because every time you do low priority actions, you lower your self-worth. And every time you do high priority actions, you grow it. Now, from a sensory perspective, in case you don't have anybody to delegate to yet, transiently, it's wise to ask those things that aren't as important, but I must do them. How specifically is doing them helping me move one step closer to fulfilling my dreams? Because it's about the quality of life, quality questions you ask determines the quality of life you have. So if you ask, how is whatever I'm experiencing, whatever I'm doing on a daily basis, how is it helping me fulfill my mission? And do that temporarily until you can delegate it. Now, my highest value is researching, writing, traveling, teaching. That's really the top. And teaching is number one. So I basically made a list of everything I did, and I delegated it all away. So I don't do anything but research, write, travel, teach today. That's it. I've been researching, writing, teaching today, and I travel. I surrounded myself with people who would love to do the things that I've been wanting to delegate to get off my plate, so I can produce the most, make the most income to pay for that. So the universe is forcing you to do something that serves people and valuing yourself to get rewarded, so you can delegate lower priority things so you can live an inspiring life. So I don't do anything. I don't drive. I don't cook. I don't do anything except research, write, travel, teach, because those are the things that are most meaningful to me. And it took me a while to get there, but all I can say is if you surround yourself with people that would love to do the things you need to delegate and get on with doing what's most important, you'll produce the most. You'll liberate yourself from the bondage of things that lower your self-worth. You'll shine instead of shrink. You'll inspire instead of despire, and you'll give yourself permission to do something extraordinary.
I love it. I love it. And you're so right, because we all are trying to do so much. We're trying to do everything. And that's really keeping us stuck than moving us forward. We got to learn how to delegate for sure.
If you don't delegate, you don't prioritize, streamline, and delegate, you'll hold yourself back. I did that years ago, 33 years ago, when I opened up my practice. I looked at what was the highest producing thing I could do in a day. And the number one thing, believe it or not, was going out and sharing the message of healing with people and enrolling people into patients. And the second most highest priority to do was taking care of the patients, the highest priority patients that have the biggest impact. And then I delegate everything else off the plate. I did not do anything else. I shared the message, my mission, and I took care of patients. That was it. All reports, all paperwork, all administrative work, all that. I could hire somebody for $20, $30 an hour, $50 an hour to do all that. So I could go and produce the most and serve the most and reach the most. So I had to learn to not get bogged down in the lower priority things, which hold me back and then make me feel unfulfilled and drain my energy. It's wise to get on to high priority things. Again, Parkinson's law states that if you don't fill your day with high priority actions that inspire you, it will spontaneously fill up with low priority distractions that lower your self-worth and despond you.
Low priority distractions like checking the email all the time and things like that.
If you don't take command of your emails, they take command of you.
Ooh, did you guys hear that? If you don't take command of your emails, they'll take command of you. Isn't that what's happening? I mean, really, isn't that what's happening? You're also so correct on that. Now, I know you have 31 principles of life. Give us your top 5.
Well, in one of my books, you're probably looking at the Stress to Success book, but I just did that because there were 31 days in a month, and I wanted to make sure that people could change their lives in a month. But the number one thing is to identify what's truly highest on your value, because your highest value, the ancient Greeks called the telos. And the telos is the origin of teleology, which is the study of meaning and purpose. Napoleon Hill called it the chief aim, or the magnificent obsession, Ed Tullison called it. It is the primary objective that you focus your life on. And knowing that one thing, Gary Keller from Keller Williams said it, you got to find that one thing that you're a master of, that you want to become the greatest at. Finding that out is number one, because you got to target your energy onto something that's most powerful, most influential, most inspiring, and most productive, and most profitable. So finding that out is number one. Number two is delegating all lower priority things off your plate and not do desperate things. You can't live an inspired life doing desperate things. And so at first, you're going to have to go out and do something that produces. If you don't care enough about humanity to find a service with your skills that serve humanity, you won't have an income to be able to delegate things with, and you'll be trapped doing low priority things. So the universe rewards people who serve people. And the reward is the freedom to liberate yourself from low priority things that weigh you down and make you age, and get on to doing the things that are higher in your priority until you go towards the wisdom of your soul. When you do that, you prioritize, you're doing what's highest on priority, you're living by a purpose, and you're delegating. The third one is making sure you pay yourself, no matter how much you make, pay yourself a portion of it. When I first started, I only saved 2%. I raised it every single quarter until it was 53% of my gross income of my entire business. So I just kept raising what I was saving and saving it. And when I earned enough to have a cushion, I started investing. And I can say, if you don't manage your money wisely, you won't receive more money to manage. And if you don't pay yourself first, you won't manage your money wisely. You have to value yourself if you want the world to. And the moment you do, the world begins to. So take a portion of whatever you earn and you save it. And as it accumulates, you invest it. And you have money working for you, so you're not a slave having to work for money. The next one is to know that you want to make sure you count your blessings and go through and document a gratitude list every day. Because when you're grateful for what you have, you get more to be grateful for. So I got the largest collection of gratitudes of anybody I've ever met. It's thousands of pages of gratitudes, and I document every single day. You're already on there for the day. This interview is already on there. So I'm constantly documenting my gratitudes, because if you're grateful, your heart opens, you're more inspired, you have more fulfillment in life. And when you do more wise things, and you're more magnetic to drawing and attracting people to you that are opportunities. And the other one is to document whatever's worked and what doesn't work every day, so you can keep refining and polishing and becoming more effective and efficient at whatever you do that you're here to master. If you do those 5 things, you'll definitely move in the top echelon, the 1%, instead of the bottom 99%.
Yeah. Well, gratitude, I know, I think I really first started appreciating gratitude when I seen you guys in The Secret. A lot of people complained about what The Secret was missing. I looked at what it gave. And one of the things it did was, hey, Marcus, one of the things that it did is it kept me focused on my intentions for the day. And that number one intention was gratitude, and I was going through a deep struggle time, John, I kid you not. I learned to master the art of interviewing. It was easy because I have a gift of gab and asking for the interview, but I couldn't master how to monetize it. You know what I'm saying? And I used to get frustrated for that. And I know many of our viewers get that because they want to get to the money. But there was so much personal stuff I had to get taken care of first. One being grateful. So I started saying, when I woke up in the morning, thank you, God, for waking me up this morning and giving me a mouth to talk and legs to walk and all that stuff. And when I started saying that and shift my focus from what I didn't have to what I had and just try to work on the solutions for the other things began to change, doors began to open, and I began to have a better start of my day. So gratitude is key.
I was born on Thanksgiving Day in America, and my mom, when I was 4 years old, put me to bed, and she said, make sure, son, before you go to bed, to count your blessings, because those that are grateful for what they got, they get more to be grateful for. That's been with me all my life. It really does. Now, I'm amazed. Many people have challenges economically because they don't have a value on it. If I ask people, and I do in front of thousands of people in programs, I say, how many of you want to be financially independent? And they all put their hands up. I said, how many of you are? And most of them put their hands down. And I say, well, if you have a fantasy about having a fancy lifestyle and you want to spend it on consumables and depreciables that are liabilities, not assets, you will struggle with finances your whole life. But if all of a sudden you truly have a value of building wealth, you have to know the distinction between an asset and a liability. And when you get money, make sure you're only putting money into things that grow in value instead of decay in value. So what you have to do is buy assets and invest and save and build wealth instead of immediate gratifying consumables. Because people that are consumables are buying other people's brands. People who are appreciables build a brand around themselves.
That's a big difference. Big difference. I want to go back to your story because a lot of people that are just tuning in from Periscope, thank you for listening. Yes. Someone from Periscope says, John, stop living below your means. Yeah, we got to, again, feel like we deserve more to have more. This is Dr. John DeMartini. And again, I'm facing the screen towards him because he's our guest. If you want to join us on Blab, come on over. I put the link in there. We'd love to have you chat with him at the end. We'll be opening seats in about 30 minutes. For all of you that are here on Blab, thanks for sharing us and continue sharing with us. Stay tuned. And for those of you listening to the replay, thank you and hello. Hi, Carrie. We're going to open up the seat soon. We are talking to none other than Dr. DeMartini, one of the stars in The Secret. My case looks pretty bad on The Secret. I still listen to it every day. And he's just amazing. He is known for helping people with that breakthrough. It doesn't matter if it's business or professional. You definitely got to check him out and follow him because just stay plugged into him. I know you guys know him. He is known worldwide, but he started out sharing with his story that his legs and arms were turned inside out. And I wanted to go back to that, and you guys can catch the replay on it. John, that was very difficult. I know this happened when you were younger, but did you find that because of some of the things that happened to you younger, did it start to affect you as an adult? Do you have times when you go back to that dark side? And I know you've mastered this thing, pumped up and encouraged, but before that, because I know a lot of listeners are going through things and they find it tough moving on.
When I left Hawaii and I first came back to Texas to attempt to go back and go to school. See, I never finished high school. I took a GED, a high school equivalency test when I turned 18, and I guessed on the questions. I literally just affirmed in my mind, I'm a genius, and I apply my wisdom, and I just guessed. And I passed. And I took a college entrance exam, and I guessed, and somehow I passed. I don't know how, but I passed. It was purely guessing, because half the time I couldn't read the questions. Then I went into college. I tried to go to a college class at a junior college because I couldn't go into a college yet, but a junior college. And I thought I was going to do the same thing, guess and pass. But I got into school and I took my first class and I got a 27. I failed so miserably.
Wow.
And I saw that test score and I ran to my car. I cried in my car. I drove home. I curled up in a fetal position on the living room floor. And all I could hear was my first grade teacher saying, he'll never read, he'll never write, he'll never communicate, never amount to anything, never go very far in life. And I was in a real dark moment. And my mom came home from shopping and she saw me there. She hadn't seen me crying for many years because I left home as a teenager. And she said, son, what happened? What's wrong? I said, I blew it. I bombed the test. And she just looked at me. She didn't know what to say. And finally she spoke and she put her arm on my shoulder and she said, son, whether you become a great teacher, healer, and philosopher like you dream around and travel the world, whether you return to Hawaii and ride big waves as a surfer like you've done, or return to the streets and panhandle as a bum, I just want to let you know that your father and I are going to love you no matter what.
Oh, that's so precious.
And I learned that moment what love was. I learned what presence was. And when she said that, I was already in tears, but my tears turned to a different kind. I got really grateful for her saying that. My hand went into a fist. I looked up and I saw a vision of me speaking in front of a large audience. And I said to myself, I'm going to master this thing called reading. I'm going to master this thing called studying and learning. I'm going to master this thing called teaching. And I'm going to do whatever it takes, travel whatever distance, and pay whatever price to give my service of love across this planet. I'm not going to let any human being stop me, not even myself. I got up, I hugged my mom, I went into my room, I got a dictionary out, and I started memorizing from the first page in the dictionary, through that dictionary, 30 words a day. My mom tested me on them, I pronounced them, I had to spell them, I had to make a meaning out of them, and I just kept focusing on 30 words a day until my vocabulary was strong enough to pass school. And once I got that, man, I was nonstop. I started reading, I started learning, I started listening. I started teaching. I was on a mission to be on a mission that I'm doing today. And I can tell you right now, if it wasn't for my mom testing me on 30 words a day, I don't know where I'd be. But I can say that I had to overcome that. It was a very turning point in my life. If I hadn't had her come home, I might have gone back and just been a surfer and never finished my education.
Mm. Wow. It's amazing. Hello. It's amazing, to hear your story and how awesome is it for your mom to have said those encouraging words for you and definitely a great push out there. But I know, even though yours was beautiful and you had support, there are so many people that are tuning in. And I know you have so many clients that don't have that support. So what do you tell them, John?
Well, I tell them that whatever you're going through, if you write it all down, if you look on the internet, you'll find somebody famous who went through the same thing. I have a list of about 40 of the most famous philosophers, scientists, great original thinkers, great artists that were born without a father. That means their father was gone before they were born, or their father or mother died within the first few years of their life, and they were orphans. Some of the greatest, most powerful people. Sir Isaac Newton was an example. And some of the Sartre, John Sartre was another one. Some of the greatest people didn't have a parent. So whatever you think is in your way, you write it down and look on the internet and find out famous people that had that same thing, and you'll find out that it doesn't matter what you've been through, it doesn't matter what you're going through. What matters is what you do with it.
Ooh,
it's not outside that determines it. It's your decision and how you perceive it. You can use it as a victim of your history and make it an excuse, or you can use it to empower the mastery of destiny. Totally up to you. So no matter what happens, it's on the way. So you want to ask this great question every day. How did whatever I experience, how did whatever I'm going through, how does it help me fulfill my mission on planet Earth? If you ask that every day, and don't go to bed until you've answered that multiple times, until you can say thank you and keep a record of the thank yous, you'll see that there is never anything in the way. It's always on the way.
Oh, wow. That's huge. How can it move me forward to my mission? What is my purpose? And I guess thinking about that and saying that, we have to be clear what our real mission and purpose is, right?
Well, if you subordinate to other people, you'll inject their values into your life and you'll cloud the clarity of the sunny truth that's in the heart. You've got to be giving yourself permission to stand on people's shoulders, not live in their shadows.
Ooh, and give yourself permission to succeed, right?
Because if you're doing something that you're inspired by, you don't give up on it. If you're giving up on it and you're failing on it, it isn't really what's inspiring to you. If it's inspiring to you, get back up again. Imagine a baby when it's first walking and it falls and it goes, I'm just not meant to be. I'm just not meant to walk. What kind of attitude is that? But no, the child gets back up and it walks again.
Yeah.
It's committed to being on a mission of walking and getting what it wants in life. So if you have that attitude, I always say that if anything that you think is failure is feedback. And if you think it's failure and you give up on it, it's because it wasn't important enough anyway. But if it's something that's feedback, you'll get up and you'll do it again and refine it. I mean, I don't know of anybody that's gone out and achieved greatness that didn't have setbacks. It's part of the game. But the setbacks are step forwards.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of the journey. I think we talked about that when I had you on Don't Wait to Be Great. The good, the bad, and the darn right ugly is part of our journey. Some of us got to go through more stuff, but it's for a reason. Even though it may be just tragic, it's for a reason. And we're meant to go.
But you don't get tragic things in your life unless you're somehow trying to be somebody you're not. I'm convinced of that. Really? If you're setting a goal that is not real, that is not thought through, that's not planned. When you live by your highest values, the executive center in the brain comes online, which is involved in inspired vision, strategic planning, execution, and self-governance. When you set a goal that's not yours, the amygdala comes online, and you set up fantasies and then create nightmares. It's important to set goals that are true, that are really inspiring to you, that are authentic, that you are willing to go out and do whatever it takes, pain or pleasure, to get it, that you won't give up on. That's a sign that you found a real goal, not a fantasy.
Wow, that's interesting. That is so. Did you guys hear that? That is so interesting. Hey, if you're just joining us, this is Raven, the Talk Show Maven, and you're tuned in to Amazing Women of Power, world's leading positive programming network powered by Raven International. Hey, that's me. My guest is none other than John Demartini, one of the stars from The Secret. If you want to make that breakthrough, you got to connect with him. We're going to have him, so stay tuned. Shortly, he'll be telling you about his breakthrough experience, how you can plug into him and all that. So don't you dare go anywhere. For all those listening to the replay, you got to listen to his story. If he got through what he got through, you can certainly get through yours. And for all of you that are joining us on Periscope and Blab Live and Amazing Women of Power, because right now we are broadcasting live on Amazing Women of Power as well. We want to say thank you for tuning in and showing up live. Hey, Arson, welcome, welcome. The people that are here, we're going to open up the seats shortly. So Periscopers, come on over. Click that link on Blab. Come on over. So we open up the seats pretty soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And Roxy Fit, you're amazing. Come on over because we're going to give you a chance to ask your question to Dr. John Demartini. Don't miss this. Don't miss this. This is huge. And I want to just stop real quickly and thank you, Dr. Demartini, for coming on again. I really appreciate it. You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it too. Thank you.
You guys, it is so important to push past our fears, and our pain so we can get to our power and live on purpose. But you got to have that passion for it. Like Dr. Demartini says, don't do things that's not you, that's not authentic, that just because somebody said that you're good at it, just because you're skilled at it, if you don't like it, get the money, have it as your job, but, find out what your passion is. So let's talk about that, John. Sometimes it's so much stuff going on in our life, we don't know what our passion is. So how do we get clear of that?
Well, if you take the time on my website, drdemartini.com, there is a value determination process to determine what you value most. It's a 13-step process. It takes about 30 minutes. It takes it through and takes them through the steps. When they're done, it will help them identify what's really highest on their priorities and values in life. It's important to start there, to look at what your life truly demonstrates is most important. If I look at my life, I spontaneously research and write every day. I spontaneously teach every day. I travel regularly. My life demonstrates it. If you look at how you fill your space, what you spend your time on, what is it that energizes you? What is it you spend your money on? What is it that's most organized in your life? What is it that's most disciplined, or where you're most disciplined? What is it you think about, visualize, internally dialogue with yourself about, converse with other people about? What is it you're inspired by? What is it you set goals that are achieved? And what do you love learning about? If you look at those variables, it narrows down and tells you what you're really committed to. Identifying through those variables, the 13 value determinants, it'll give you an idea of who you are and what you're committed to. Then setting goals that match that is the fastest way I know to empower yourself. Because if you set goals that are injected values of others, see, anytime we've all been momentarily infatuated with somebody. And the second we put somebody on a pedestal and minimize ourselves to them and fear the loss of them, we'll start sacrificing what's important to us to be with them. And so anytime you look out there and you see somebody that's smarter than you, or you think they are, you think they're intelligent, you think they're more successful, you think they're wealthier, you think they've got a better relationship, you think they've got more social influence, you think they're healthier, you think they're more inspired or spiritual. Anytime you think they've got something you don't, and you're too humble to admit what you see in them is inside you, and you play small and you minimize yourself, you're going to live in their shadows, you're going to inject their values, you're going to try to be somebody you're not, you're going to set goals that aren't really true to you, and you're going to beat yourself up. And that beating yourself up is a feedback to let you know you're not being authentic, you're not honoring your own magnificence, you're trying to live through other people vicariously. And that's when you end up giving away your power. That's why you end up being a consumer, because you're unfulfilled. And then you end up giving away your brand instead of building a brand as an identity to shine.
Indigo said, but you'll be off balance always if you're on someone else's territory. So correct. So correct. And you guys, hi, Jason. Hi, everybody just joining. And you want to go to drdemartini.com, drdemartini.com. And I'm going to recommend, in fact, strongly recommend, don't walk, run on over there and subscribe to his newsletter. You'll be so glad you did. Subscribe to his newsletter. He has a lot of stuff going on there. So much stuff. Wow. I mean, you got a great site, by the way. You always look so young. You always look so young. Yeah,
I'll be 61 in November. 61
Are you
in November.
Serious? Oh my God.
61.
Oh my God. Well, you like me up. I got you beat by a few years. Give me a high five.
High five.
High five. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But there's so much on here. You definitely want to follow him. Just to kind of give you an idea, he talks about the DeMartini Institute, his methods, his value determination, movies he's in. Any more movies coming out other than The Secret you've been in?
Yeah, we've got one called the Abundance Code on Wealth. We've got one just called the Wellness Story that just came out. We've got another one coming up on Eternal Youth that's coming out. So there's 3 coming out. Well, one just did come out, and 2 more coming this next couple months.
Can you say the name of it again?
Eternal Youth.
Eternal Youth. Okay.
Yeah. We've got 33 movies now that we've got that have been out there.
Are you serious?
So there's 33. So Eternal Youth, Abundance Code will be coming very shortly, and the Wellness Story.
And the
Wellness Story is a very inspiring story. That's out of Canada.
All right. Well, just so you know, I'm doing Don't Wait to Be Great, Do It Now. That movie, I put that vision up there. And yes, I'll be coming towards you to have you in there for sure. So go there. Where can they find out about the movies? Do they just put Dr. John DeMartini, Google movies? Or
if they go under movies under my website, there's a section called movies.
Okay.
Not all of them are on there, but many of them are on there. And when they come out, the second they come out, we put them on there, let people know about them.
Okay, good. Yeah. I see it now. And also, he's a fantabulous speaker. So make sure, here it is, guys. Dr. DeMartini, look on the site and you'll see the movie. Okay. We'll show it to Periscope too. Boy, Periscope's giving you some hearts. That's good. They love you. And so check those out. I love being inspired by movies as well. Hello, Rena Nicole and Jason and all the Periscopers and all the people tuning in from Amazing Women of Power and on the replay. Thank you. I'm Raven, the talk show Maven, known by many as the queen of internet radio and interview conversion, because I show you how to go interview the icons in your niche. We all have different heroes and sheroes. Dr. John DeMartini is one of mine, as well as the other people I interview. Ask them for an interview. If you don't ask, you won't GT get, right, John? You got to ask them. Absolutely. And you talked about how important it is to ask. And, I want to go back to something that you mentioned, and it really is dear to my heart, because you talked about earlier how you had a vision, for wanting more and doing more. And in The Secret, they talked about having a vision board. Did you ever have a vision board?
I did. I've had vision boards and vision collections for many, many years. I got to share a story. Okay. I was in the Galleria of Houston, Texas. I'm up on my office right now on the 52nd floor of Williams Tower in Houston, where one of my head offices in the States is. And I went over to the Galleria, which is a big mall that's attached to a skywalk. And I went to the American Express Travel Service, and I said, I'd like to get every brochure and every flyer you have of any travels anywhere in the world. And she said, well, sir, you sure you don't want to narrow it down to one country or one place? I said, no, I want everything you got. And she said, well, we have thousands of pieces here. I said, well, let me have a copy of every one of them. She said, are you serious? I said, I'm going to be traveling the world, so I need everything. So she came back 2 feet. So I brought a cart over there and carried 2 feet of brochures back to my office. I got some scissors out, and I cut out all the pictures of all the greatest places and all the most amazing places in the world that I wanted to go. And I created this vast vision thing that I wanted to create on where I wanted to go, and I imagined myself speaking there. So I wanted to go to the amphitheater, Greece, where Yanni played his music. I did a speech there. I filled it up. I brought a famous violinist there to speak, to bring people in there. And then I filled it up, and then I presented there. I wanted to go to the Egyptian pyramids, the China Wall, Colossus at Rhodes, all the wonders of the world, all the greatest, most amazing sites, Madeira, and all these different places, the Meteoric places in Greece. All the places I made them cupping them, all but about 17 places I've been to now. We're talking about hundreds of places. So I just kept plugging away and kept visualizing it, kept focusing on it. I started attracting people to ask me to come and speak in those places, or I put on programs in those places. So the vision process is if it's truly meaningful to you and you're really inspired by it, it's not just some whim, and you stay with it, you attract opportunities to get there. But you got to have something you're really committed to do, and you got to have a service of value to people to attract opportunities to.
Yeah.
You have a responsibility to offer a value to others if you want to be valued and want to have value back.
Yeah. Be the leader that you're looking for. Be the client that you're looking for. Be the guest that you're looking for, the listener that you're looking for. It goes on and on and on. One of the things I used to put on my computer when I first started out, John, was I think Zig Ziglar said it. I'm probably not going to say it perfect, but if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And that kept me in the service mind. And as Bob Burt talks about, being the go-giver and not really focusing on the money, although I was starving, almost homeless, and needed it. When I took my focus off that and really talked about and focused on bringing the best guest that was going to help my listeners have that transformation, then things started opening up. I did create a vision board. I want you to know all the people on The Secret was on there. Didn't get them all, but I got you and Jack Canfield and Lisa Nichols and John Ashraf, and Dr. Joe Vitale. So I did pretty good. I had my vision board.
Call them all. They'll come on.
Yeah, well, I got them. I just got to get the rest of them. Yeah, but yes, I am going to call them and connect with them. But I believe in a vision board. I teach my clients to start with that because you have to be the vision. But here's the thing, like you said, you got to be committed to it because it's not going to be easy. I got a lot of no's at first, but you got to keep consistent, be persistent. Don't be a stalker. There's a difference from being a stalker, guys, but just drip on them. And wouldn't you agree, Dr. Demartini, if you really want to connect with them, you should follow them and get in their newsletters and buy their product. Even if you can't afford the big product, start with something. Follow them in their newsletter. So when you do have that conversation with them, you can say, hey, you went skiing last week. You wrote that in your newsletter. Wouldn't you agree that that's a big thing, Dr. Demartini?
Well, every human being warms up and opens up if you help them fulfill their highest value.
Right.
Find out what they're dedicated to. Find out what they care about, and help them. Mm-hmm. Many years ago, when I was about 20 years old or so, I guess 20. Yeah, no, 20, probably 20, 24. I wanted to go and meet Nobel Prize winners, so I did what I could to try to locate their contact details. And I got on the telephone in front of a class, and they said, John, who are you? Who do you think you are? These people aren't going to talk to you. What the heck? I got on the telephone, and I didn't care if they said yes or no. I called. I got Linus Pauling on the line, 2-time Nobel Prize winner, one for chemistry and one for peace. He got on the phone. I chatted with him for about 30 minutes. And the thing that left in my mind that was so important to me that I learned from Linus Pauling was, he says, I can't wait to get up in the morning and go into the lab and see if I can make one more discovery before I leave. He was inspired. And it taught me, don't be afraid to ask for what you want. That's the Aladdin factor that Mark Victor Hansen talked about. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. You can always get a no, but who cares? You're one step closer by asking than if you don't. Mm-hmm. And if you communicate in their values and try to be something to help them, and if you called them and said, look, I've got thousands of people in 154 countries that want to get your message. Can I have you come on and share whatever inspires you with the people that I know would want to hear it and you could change and make a difference in the world? They'll all come on.
Yeah.
Because you're helping them get what they want, which is serving other people.
Yeah. I was talking earlier to the person I interviewed before this, Mark Shaw and Robert C. Stern. They said the famous radio station was WIFM, what's in it for me. Problem with that, too many people focused on the in me. So I changed it, John, and I have a little sticker that I keep up that says WIFT. That's the new radio station. What's in it for them? That's a fresh reminder to me every day that it's not about me. It's about them being the guest, them being my audience, them being my potential client, and it helped me. It really did when I flipped that.
Exactly. So right on.
Yeah. Let's talk about the breakthrough thing. Okay, go ahead.
I want to share something. I was speaking at a church one time. Mm-hmm. And I made a comment that startled everybody. That I said, if you're poor, it's because you're not caring about humanity.
Ooh.
And I really shook them up. And I said, because if you care about humanity, you're going to go out and find out the greatest number of people that have the greatest needs. Ooh. And you're going to directly or indirectly try to find a way to fulfill those needs. Yeah. If you fulfill those needs, you won't be poor anymore.
Yeah. And
if you're focusing on yourself and not serving people, you're not going to have anything. But if you care enough about human beings to do it, in the Great Book of Wealth, it said that one of the 3 things that are key to the wealthiest people on the planet, where they felt by divine providence and human sovereignty, they were destined to serve vast numbers of people. So if you feel that you're destined to serve vast numbers of people, and you care enough to find out what their dominant needs are, and you find some solution directly or indirectly through either your talents or other people's talents to help them find those needs, just like you've done, then it's impossible for you not to be rewarded financially.
Mm. Love it, love it, love it. And here's the thing, guys. A lot of times people say, well, I'm not making the money. I can't do what John does. I can't do what whoever does. You know what? When you see people in a wheelchair at the store and their things are dropping on the floor, don't just start picking it up. Ask them, would you like some assistance in it? If you know somebody that doesn't have a car and you go to the store every day, you can start at that simple place. Wouldn't you agree, John? From there, it doesn't have to be anything huge.
If you go out and start, I always say the piggy banks become biggie banks. If you start with small action steps every day, you build momentum to build big dreams.
I love it, John. You have the best one-liners in the world. And they're so true. They're so true. I'm going to give you a chance to sip some water. We're going to do a quick commercial break. Then we're going to come back and really talk about some sure enough. You gave us great things here, but some sure enough action tips, maybe your top 5 action tips that they can take and start today, not tomorrow, moving forward. And then we're going to open up some seats and see if anyone has any questions or want to say hi. Fair enough? All right, guys, I got to take a sip of water. I can't even do commercial break till I take a sip of water. Nothing like water. Hey, Periscopers, Blabbers, and all of you that are tuning into the replay, and also my amazing Women of Power radio hosts and listeners. First of all, thank you for tuning in. Isn't Dr. John Demartini amazing? See, it's not just a secret. This man got it going on. Make sure you go to his website. I'll show it to you again. It's real easy. It's his name, Dr. Demartini. These are some of the movies he's in. And if you look on the site, it will tell you all kinds of things. It talks about his breakthrough experience, where he's going to talk about this shortly. It talks about his Demartini value determination, online learning portal. Sign up for his newsletter. Sign up for his newsletter and follow this man. He will get you there faster rather than slower, on those breakthroughs sooner rather than later. I'm Raven, the Talk Show Maven, known by many as the Queen of Internet Radio and Interview Conversion. If you like to interview top icons in your niche, your heroes and sheroes, go to my website, amazingwomenofpower.com. Book a time slot with me so we can talk about where you are now to interviewing compared to where you want to be, and get my icon interview formula. It tells you how to investigate, connect, own your platform, and get to the nitty gritty. All my insider secrets. So now back with more with John Demartini, Dr. John Demartini. Raven, don't get it twisted. Oh yeah. Hi, John. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much. So I know people want to jump in. You guys get ready. We're going to open up the seats in about 5 minutes. But we want to, okay, we talked about breakthroughs. We talked about fears. We talked about believing in yourself and knowing your self-worth and value. I want to give them 5 of your best tips for moving into action to make those breakthroughs.
Well, I've said 5 earlier, but I'll do another 5.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with them.
I learned I was speaking to Mary Kay Cosmetic Company to about 4,500 women in Dallas at the Anatole many years ago, 29 years ago. And I went up and met Mary Kay Ash afterwards. And I asked her, what advice could you give me as a young, inspiring speaker about traveling the world, etc.? What advice could you give? And she gave me something that I've used ever since. And that was, every day, write down the 6 or 7 highest priority action steps you can do that day that can help you fulfill your highest priorities, highest dream, most important mission in life. And so I did that on index cards. I carried them index cards with me everywhere. And I wrote down the 6 or 7 highest priority actions for that day. And they had to be actions to be done that day. They weren't projects, just daily actions that are priority. And if I did that every single day, I noticed that my self-worth went up, my accomplishment went up, and I was always moving 1 step closer every single day, more steps towards my dream. And that was very powerful. So take the time to make a list of what's truly highest in priority for the day. Start looking at what's for the day. Then at the end of about a year or so, don't throw this away. Look at what was the most common highest priority actions that repeatedly showed up, and narrow it down. What was the highest priority of the highest priorities? And then make a commitment to delegate everything else off your plate. And I'm telling you, if you do, mine is research, write, travel, teach. I delegate everything else off my plate. I don't do anything else. I don't cook. I don't drive. I don't do it. I haven't driven in 25 years. I haven't cooked since I was 24. I don't do low priority things, because if I do, I weigh myself down and my self-worth goes down. I only do what is truly most inspiring, most meaningful, most productive, most profitable, that allows me to do and move forward to accomplish things. It forces you to do things that serve people to get the income to delegate. So it forces you to do a service, because you can't delegate unless you're serving. And so that's number one. The second thing is to make sure that you document from people that you've served testimonials, so you know what's working and what's not working. Get feedback. Get feedback. Don't presume, don't assume. Get the real data to find out what's working and not working, so you can refine what you're doing, so you can be greater tomorrow at what you're doing today.
Love it.
If you do that, you're going to move one step closer again. Then give yourself permission. You want to say, I give myself permission to do something extraordinary on planet Earth. So start making a list of exactly how you want your life, and get the visual and get the auditory solid. Get it. The word affirmation is not about making just positive statements. The word affirmation means to get firm in one's mind, to affirm in one's mind. So get clear on how you want to talk to yourself, because your internal psychology and your internal talking is making a difference. So start writing it out. I started saying to myself that I'm a master of persistence. I do what it takes. I do what I love what I do. I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. I'm a master healer. Whoever I touch becomes healthy and inspired. I'm always at the right place at the right time to meet the right people to make the right deal. I started to affirm in my mind 24 hours of internal dialogue about how I wanted my life that are all true today. I'm a multimillionaire money magnet. Whatever I do and wherever I go, wherever I touch turns to gold. I basically affirmed how I wanted my life. And you know what happened? They're all true today. They're all reality today. So I got clear on vision.
Yeah, speaking it in existence, for sure.
Speaking in existence, and just know that any detail you leave out of the vision is an obstacle you'll face on the journey. So get clear on the vision and don't put down fantasies. Put down things you're really committed to. Articulate it smoothly. Prioritize your daily actions. Document what's actually working and not working, and then keep records of those gratitudes. That keeps your heart open, it keeps you inspired, and it keeps you focused.
Love it, love it.
And if you find yourself not as accountable, it's because you're not doing what's priority. And don't be afraid to get a mentor to over guide, to go and look and allow somebody to make sure you're accountable. I had a friend that had a $1.2 million business, and he hired a person for $85,000 a year, an older gentleman that was retired, just to keep him accountable. So he had to show what his priorities were for the day, and he had to get them done before he went to bed that night. That went to 10 million that year. So he almost 9 times his income, or 8 times his income that year, because he had somebody he was accountable to. So put yourself into accountability and make sure you stick to priority.
Yeah, and mentors, you got to have mentors, guys. Don't be afraid to invest. Don't tell yourself, well, I don't have this to invest. Figure out what you have to invest and get you a mentor. And mentors starting out for me were books and audio tapes and getting on whatever free seminars and stuff I could get. But then I learned, John, that, if I really wanted to get there and not drag my feet, I had to invest. And when I invested, I remember when I invested in the first huge mastermind that I got in, it was like $54,000. I was like, oh my God, I'm barely making 20,000 more than it. But then I just went for it, and didn't just listen to what my mentor said, but follow the action steps. You know what happened? All of a sudden I tripled that and ended up paying it off sooner. Just threw myself out there and did the work. We can't miss doing the work.
When my wife and I, many years ago, 20-something years ago, we learned a principle that, who you associate with has an impact on your life. So we decided to move. We were living in New York City. We decided to move into the most powerful center in New York City, which is basically 56th and 5th, 57th, 56th and 5th, and Madison Avenue, right there, that block. We moved into Trump Tower. We bought in a place. Well, first we rented a place, then we bought a place about a year later. And that year we made more money than 10 years combined before that, because of the people we associated with and the things we learned by the associations in that building. We lived underneath Donald Trump. We lived across from Kenny Rogers, we had Steven Spielberg on the right, we had the guy that owned Guess Jeans on the left.
Woo.
Sophia Loren was above us, and Bruce Willis was across the way on the floor above. I mean, we positioned ourselves and associated with a new group of people, and we expanded. So
Wow.
we took action step on associations and played a bigger game. And I've done that again, because now where I live now, it's the same thing. I live in even a greater place now. But I moved and took an action step that moved me one step closer to my dreams. And every day you do that, you get your dreams.
Wow, that is amazing, amazing. Okay, let me just, now we got two more, I think, John, because you talked about first, we're leaving with 5 action steps, and then we're going to open up so you guys can talk to John. First, you said write a list of 6 to 7 of your highest priority action steps per day.
Yeah.
And then you said document testimonials from people that you service. And I just want to say real quick, that is so true. My husband, Khalik, which you'll be jumping on here in a minute, he went out and he interviewed my clients right before our big live event, John, on why they chose me out of all the people to teach them radio and interview. And I thought it was because, and they wanted to get to the money and how to monetize radio. And I found out through his interview, it was because, they wanted to get the confidence and the courage to interview. So when we interview our clients, they will tell us what they want. We may be thinking something, but they're going to tell us the truth. So I just want to throw in there, that's really good. And then you say, give yourself permission to do something extraordinary, but get clear of your vision there. So that's what
Get clear of the vision and articulate it. The way you know your vision is clear is you have communication that's articulate and congruent. Because when you can say what it is that you see and they're matching and people can see it when you say it, it's clear.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're now on the 4th and 5th, and then we're going to open it up for seats.
Well, the giving yourself permission and then doing the vision and the affirmations that are clear and concise, and fill your day with that, and then document your gratitude. Don't forget that gratitude. Absolutely. He started that. And document your gratitude, guys, and start with gratitude in the morning just for waking up, because that's a big deal. If you don't believe it, put it on the news. I want to show something. Over on the side, there's a table over there. You see all those books? See on the tables?
Yeah.
Below it? Those are my gratitude volumes.
Wow.
Each one is about 1,000 pages.
Woo! 1,000
So we're talking about 15,000 gratitudes.
Wow.
15,000 pages of gratitude.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I got to start doing that. I have it up here and I'll say my gratitude, but I haven't written it. Indigo, you have a great question. I'm going to open up the seats for you guys to come on in. And so let's get some people in here to talk to you, John, and ask you your question. Come on in, Indigo. Khalid, come on in. Papa Sue, guys, come on in and talk. And if you're just tuning in, this is Raven, the Talk Show Maven, and we are talking to none other than Dr. John Demartini from The Secret. You know him from The Secret. Go to drdemartini.com and check out his website. Get on his subscriber list and follow him. We want to thank you, Periscopers. Thank you so much. And I'm going to turn the camera here. You can come on Blab real quick if you want to ask him a question. Thank you to all of the blabbers and all of the amazing women of power. And thank you, John, for being here. So we're going to start with Indigo. Hey, Indigo.
Hi,
how you doing?
I'm good. I've been really enjoying this interview very much. So thank you for being here and doing this, both of you. So my question has been brewing through this entire thing, and I feel like we're kind of starting just beyond where I'm at. So I've done a lot of things. Like if I just went back looking for testimonials from my life, it's like when I was 15, I created a summer camp for younger kids. I've been just like all over the place, creating all kinds of things, always answering that question, what's right in front of me where I can help someone? What's something I can see that would be helpful to someone? And so I've done just such an unbelievably wide net of things where, I was effective. I was good at it. I helped people. So, that's all and well, but, as I mature, I'm kind of wanting to go deeper into a lane. And so, all the conversation we've had about when you're on your own ground and when you're prioritizing towards your goal, I'm still trying to figure out, like, what is my own ground?
Okay, hold that. So, John, what would you say to someone like her?
What's common to all the things that you've done that's been a massive service to people that's inspired you?
Connecting spirit to spirit, having spirit come through.
Say that again.
Connecting spirit to
spirit.
So that's the thing that's common to it.
Yeah.
Have you packaged that?
I guess in a way. I mean, my company is called Awaken, and it's about helping people to use their inner guidance system, their spiritual guidance system, to make a life that moves from miracle to miracle.
So have you built an entire industry around that? Have you built a brand around that?
I'm starting to. So it's pretty new. I'm about nine months in, and it's the idea is still been developing.
You're ready to birth something.
I think so, but so here's the hard thing. It's like, there's that question, what am I leaving out? Like, is this, I guess.
Well, if you package something and your whole focus is, the common denominator is helping people go inside and have their inner voice guide their life, or the highest, to be inspired by their inner voice, package around it, brand that around it, talk to somebody that's in branding that help you build that. So you're an expert in that, and that you allow yourself to put all those other little components, because that's the common thread to it. If I find that what's common to all the things that I do is maximizing human awareness and potential. So I just built around that. And now we got a brand around the world because I built around the thing that was common. Because otherwise you scatter yourself out. Nobody knows what it is. You don't build momentum.
Right. You don't know yourself.
Well, but look at what's common, because it's there.
Yeah.
Because the thing that's been common is helping people tap into their inner voice and their inner vision, and obeying that and trusting that and empowering their life with that. If that's what it is and that's what you're doing, build around that and let that be an excel. Make that your greatest.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. To go.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. I'll step out unless somebody else jumps in.
Okay. Thank you, Indigo. Hugs to you. And we have Khalid Glover. Now, you know this guy. This is my hubby. Remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, how you doing, man? It was great seeing you.
He's running the show behind the scenes there. I can see it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, I just wanted to say hi and everything, and just let you know how inspiring you are, to let you know, and this is part of, Raven and I have recently implemented doing a empowerment prayer or whatever it is to start each day. Because sometimes we go long stretches and just get in and do and forget what it is we're trying to actually do, and be grateful for what we already have and stay focused and clear on where we're trying to go. So now we've gone on to daily make sure that we do that and find the priority for the day and appreciate what's already there as well. And just focus on that, not worry about what we don't have. So a lot of that came from seeing you and just reminding ourselves of, listen, we know this stuff and we got to just quit going all over and worrying and just move forward. So I just want to acknowledge you on that.
I always say it's impossible for you not to fulfill your life if you're doing something fulfilling for others. Because if you're doing something that is high priority and you're grateful every day, setting up a ritual of gratitude and setting up a ritual of clarity, you can't go wrong on that. You're going to go forward on that. So
absolutely,
you're already serving people. It's obvious that you serve people. I mean, this is an amazing show. So there's no doubt that you're going to keep expanding that, and it's going to reach more people. And like you say, you got to give yourself permission to have what it is that you really want. So define it really clearly. What does he want? Define it.
Well, it was interesting, too, that you said that when you were living in Trump Tower, that Kenny Rogers was one of your neighbors that you met, because Kenny Rogers was my first boss in doing all this.
Wow.
Happened purely by accident, and country western, so I wasn't into it. So that's just a blessing that came. But the thing was, when I was young, I had the vision. I didn't know how it was happening. I always told the kids, and they used to laugh at me, one day I'm gonna get one of these. And they laugh at me, one day I'm gonna work with Michael Jackson and do all these things. Had no idea where it was gonna come or how it was gonna come, and was laughed at. And yeah, right. But if you keep it in front of you and visualize it, you can make it. I really believe you can make it into something tangible. That's really been the thing, and I see evidence of it now that I'm old.
Yeah, but we're when we're about 50s and 60s and 70s, we're halfway.
Yeah, how about that? Well, that's what I'm excited about. Hey, the best is yet to come.
That's exactly right. Well, you deserve it, so congratulations on staying focused. I'm a believer. I have a little affirmation that goes on in my head every day that it's impossible for me not to fulfill my mission on planet Earth. It's my destiny. I have an inspired destiny, and that's what it is, and that's just the way it works. There's no option. No turning back, going forward. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
And by
thank
the way,
you.
babe, you don't look like Father Time. You look good to me. I seen your smile. I know this
All
video
right.
is a lot different from radio, John. I got to get up and put the get up on and the whole bit. Hey, you guys got another seat if someone who wants to come in here. At Be Barefoot, thank you for being here. At Cindy. Come on, Omar, man. Come on in here. I know you want to talk to Dr. John DeMartini. At
Hey, Dr.
Casa.
John.
Come on
Hi.
in. We got Papa Sue. Hello. And one more second. Blabbers, you can come on over real quick and join as well. Papa Sue, where are
Hey,
you?
Raven, the great Maven. Hey,
Hey,
what a great show. What a
thank
really
you.
fantastic show. You got a tremendous guest. Dr. John, first time that I've had the opportunity to listen to you and hear you. Very inspired by that, by your lessons. I'm a few
Thank you.
decades older than you are, but I learned a great deal. I like the idea about trying to find a passion and the bringing things together, because in my recreation of myself in the last 4 or 5 years as an author and a speaker, getting out of the corporate world and the government world that I was in for earlier years, trying to figure out how I balance all of those things. And so I branded my company, Sub and Associates, with the slogan of touching lives and transforming outcomes. So everything that I do fits underneath that particular umbrella. It makes an impact on it. So I was happy to hear you say that. And so I don't feel unfocused.
No,
I really thought that I am, because
touching lives and transforming outcomes is fantastic. That's right on the money.
Yeah,
Because if you look at what you love doing every day, that you do spontaneous, that's just a natural outcome or byproduct of you being, that's the niche. That's where we end up excelling.
well, that was an interesting way of putting it. When you said that, to look back and see what it is that we do. This whole platform of Blab has really gotten me excited in the last 2 weeks. And in fact, last Tuesday, I decided to launch my own show. Raven has been inspiring us to learn how to do interviews. And so I decided to start a show. I have Blab now. It's Tuesdays with Papa Sub at 5 o'clock. And so Tuesday, I figured, okay, I'm going to start this. I had 2 people on, but we went ahead and recorded the entire hour.
There you go.
We just did the experience and got through the questions and comments. And so now I'm putting the replay up, and it's starting to look for guests to come on, because the format is going to be at the topic of the day, and we'll have the subject of that, spend a little bit on that, and bring the guest in, have them say a few words about that, and then open it up, just like your colleague and Raven is doing with this show. You kind of do that on Tuesday nights with different subjects.
That's awesome. Good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Hey, let me ask you a question real quick, because we want to take one other person. But what is your biggest takeaway that you heard from Dr. John DeMartini, or what's your most important question you want to ask him?
Well, the first important question is, I'd like to have you come on my show.
Well, we can arrange that. It's just a matter of organizing.
But what's the biggest takeaway you've had?
The biggest takeaway was when what he talked about in terms of identifying the passion by what is it that you do. And I really want to get a hold of this questionnaire to see what that is, because I know a lot of people suffer with that. And we try to teach passion and purpose for people over age 65. So doctors, we've written a book called Don't Die, and it's directed at people on how they live their life in the 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, and beyond. Mm-hmm. So at age 80, I'm looking forward to the next 20 years.
Okay, well, let's hear what he has to say on that.
That's it.
Say it again.
What's your question, just like in a question thing, so he can answer it for you real quickly, Arson? Or your biggest takeaway that you wanted to share?
Yeah, the biggest takeaway was what he was talking about is how to find your passion. I like that, as far as trying to identify what it is that you do every day. What would you do if you weren't going to get paid for it? You'd still love to do it.
Well, you know,
that was the biggest passion. And the other is The one thing I have heard about the law of attraction is, you have to think about something you're thinking about all the time. There was two schools of thought. One was a psychologist said years ago at a seminar that if you become what you think about, he said if that was true, I'd become part of a woman's anatomy. Said, it's not real.
Hey, is this a troll or do we need to exit him out? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the psychologist would say that, but was talking about it. And there's others say, if you keep putting on affirmations about, I'm going to get better, I'm going to do this, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to lose weight. Is there a point in time where your mind is really saying, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat?
If you say things that are not congruent with your highest value, if you say things that are not true or balanced, you set up an internal doubting mechanism automatically because it's not authentic. And that's giving you a feedback system to set real goals in real time with real objectives. So it's important to set goals that are, I distinguish between an inspired mission and passion. Passion in its root actually means to suffer. If you look it up, passio, it means the root, Old English of passio. So I say that there's an inspired mission and there's passion. And compassion means to suffer with somebody. So I use the word inspired mission, finding what it is that inspires you, that's your mission on the planet. Different than just being a passion. But this wet language, because it may mean the same thing to different people. But my belief is that if you live by your highest values, and that value determination process on my website can help people do that. That's what it was designed for. If you set goals that are aligned to that, you wake up that inspired mission because it's right there in front of you. And your life demonstrates it. All you got to do is look at where you're excelling and where you're spontaneously inspired to do things that nobody has to remind you to do, and you start there. That's the area you'll excel.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arson. We're going to go to Omar now. Thank you, Arson. And we got time for one more, and then we're going to let John go because we want to take up his whole day. Hey, Omar. Here's the website.
Hi, Omar.
Guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, John, for coming on. Like, I have officially named her the Queen of Blab, And I think she's on a mission to change the world. With this type of technology that we have and guests like you, things are not going to be the same. And if you don't change the world, you definitely have changed one person, and that is me. So I appreciate, all the things you said. My biggest takeaway is, first of all, I learned why I don't have the money and the wealth that I should have or I deserve. And that's just because I haven't been given enough. I read the book, Think and Grow Rich when I was 19, long time ago, and I decided then that I didn't want to work for anybody else, that I wanted to mastermind. It was actually two takeaways, set me up if I get too wordy here. But I'm just so excited. I got it. First of all, I didn't write things down. I need to write things down more in my journal. The biggest thing that I need to do each day, let that be a priority. I also want to have someone who's accountability partner, as well as, I need to start hanging out with people like you and Maven. It's like I need to hang around with people that's thinking big, that's thinking alike, and that's been one of my issues. I've always tried to, be the big fish in a little pond, so now I want to get in a big pond with the big fish, and I think I can expand more.
So well said.
Yeah.
I would say that money circulates through the economy from those who value it least to those who value it most. And when people really value wealth building, they maintain it, they build it. The building wealth has two components. Serving people, just like a company. You're here to serve and you're here to make a profit. And you got to own both and value both and not hide anything, no hidden agendas, and honor yourself. I just spoke to Keller Williams just an hour or so ago, and I said to him, I'm not here to serve. I'm not here to take and get a profit. I'm here to do both. I'm here to make a profit through serving you. And if I serve you more, I make a bigger profit, and we both win. That's the key. And then I'm gonna value you by serving more and offer you more value. I'm gonna value me by saving more and making it where I get to do things because I love to, not because I have to.
Okay, so I got a question. if I can ask this question.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. And we'll have time for one more, and then we're going to shut it down. So
Okay.
somebody jump in the
So
seat.
as I said, I'm successful in my own mind. I've owned and operated my own tree service for the last 30 years, and I've made enough money to, I've enjoyed my freedom and my peace. And I felt that it was a ministry to the trees. I like my job, designing, removing trees and all. But now that I'm 62 years old, I'm raising a daughter. I'm a single dad, and it's like it's time to let the trees go. And I'm passionate about this. I've refused to do 2 or 3 trees since I've met the Queen of Blab here. It's been hard to leave. I've been just so much enjoying the guests and the interaction and everything. Do you think that I could just stop the tree business and, do 1 or 2 trees here, but mainly focus on my new career in Blab, my new career in live streaming? What I want to do. I want to do what she does. I want to bring in the guests. I want to, I have a few products and everything, but, what do you think? When you follow your bliss, your passion, if this is my passion, how do I cut it off?
Well, my usual response to that is to realize that whatever you're doing is not a mistake. It's a stepping stone to the next level. So I always say, take the job you have right now and ask, how is it helping me go to the next level? How is it helping me open up and begin my blog? And what I do is I do an initial work extra hours and do both until I start to have a plan so clear that I'm certain I will generate the income. Because I believe that I always ask myself this question: how do I get paid to do what I love? I don't ever ask, how do I afford to do what I love? That's for people that don't get ahead. I ask, how do I get paid to do every step of the way? So you want to get paid on every new step as you're transitioning from the career you have to the next one. But I wouldn't nature doesn't throw away old mechanisms, it builds new layers on top. So I wouldn't throw the other one away. I'd find out how to, either I get somebody to manage that and make an income that's passive from that as an investment, and then I make the next step. Don't throw away something that's working. Build a new layer on top and delegate that and get an income from that as you open up the next step. And make sure you do a business plan to be able to make money on that and have both going. Give yourself permission to do both.
That makes sense. Okay, Doc. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Hope to see you again. Thanks a lot. Raven.
Thank you.
Okay, Omar. Looking for you to get on my calendar, man. Let's talk about this interview and bring you here. Reggie is trying so hard to get in to say hi. Your guy, Reggie. So Khalik is back, and we're gonna give Reggie one more chance and hear what Khalik has to say, and then we're gonna wrap it up because we want to respect. This is one of the things I really pride myself on with my guests. For all of you that are doing interviews, you definitely want to respect their time. And John, I know you got a lot to do. Can you give us like 5 more minutes?
I got 5 minutes. I need to get back because they're waiting at 6:30. I've got to.
Okay, we'll make it 4.
And hold up for a second because I'm gonna get off here. Reggie, you may need to go, if you're in Chrome browser, there's a little video camera icon. You got to click on that and make sure that your webcam is selected in that for video and your microphone. Go up there and check that and select it. Make sure your webcam's in. That's probably why you're not getting on. Okay, I'm off.
Thanks, babe. That's my baby. While we're giving Reggie a quick minute so he can say hi to his number 1 mentor. He's one of John's students, and I texted him right before and said, hey, I'm getting ready to interview your man, your guy, so he wanted to come on and say hello. And for all of you on Periscope, Blab, Amazing Women of Power, and for all of you listening to the replay, hey, I'm Raven, the TalkShow Maven. This guy here is Dr. John Demartini from The Secret. Make sure you go to his website. I'm going to show it to you one more time. And there it is, demartini.com. That's DEMARTINI.com. Subscribe to this newsletter. Go back and listen to this replay. I cannot wait because it's so much goods in here. You want to go back, you want to take notes, but like we talked about, you got to take the action. Got to do it, guys. You just got to do it. And like he said, you got to know your vision, have that vision, and be committed to all the journey, the good, the bad, and darn right ugly. Right, John?
That's it. You got to take the pain and the pleasure in the pursuit of a purpose.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? We're going to wrap it up. I'm sorry, Reggie, you couldn't get on, but Reggie says hello. He's new to this, so it's a lot of technology stuff. And Brandy and I, we worked it out for you. Great room, by the way. Love all those books. How many books is that, John?
Oh God, I don't know. I sold probably 25 to 30,000 books. 25,000 books I sold out because I had no place for them. So I probably have about 5 or 10,000 in here.
Wow, 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 wow. No wonder you're a master at what you do. Well, everyone, this has been a wrap up for Amazing Women and Men of Power. Our guest, let's give him a standing ovation because you did the thing, John. You rocked it. Yes, you did. There he is, Reggie.
Hi, Reggie.
Hey, Reggie.
I'm not.
There's your guy, your mentor.
My computer skills are still behind times, but I made it.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, you got to go back and listen to the replay because you didn't hear much, right?
I heard most of it. Yes, it was great, John. I loved it.
Thank you.
You've been a student of John's for a while. You know, as we sign off, not that they need to be sold on him, but you know, we talked about getting testimonies and testimonials and getting your clients' insight. Are you there, Reggie? Okay, because he's got to go real quick in 1 minute. 1 minute or less. What's the best thing you love about your mentor? I mean, you talk my ears off about him all the time. Dr. John DeMartini, just in one sentence, real quick, because he's got to go.
Okay, my life has completely changed around, and I'm on a path of extreme upward flow. I've got my own programs getting ready to go out. I've done my first book, and a lot of other things that since I've met John 5 years ago.
That's awesome.
And I'm great.
I'd like to say something. Reggie, you have a great book. I actually extracted bits and pieces from your book and has already used it. So I want to thank you for that. So congratulations on your transition from what you've done into what you're doing and your commitment to making a difference and serving. You've helped us, and I'm glad to hear that we've helped you in some ways. So thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Well, you can stay there, Reggie. John, thank you. We're going to honor your time. Thank you so much. You know, I'll be asking you again. I'm having that movie, Don't Wait to Be Great. Mwah. I will definitely be asking you to star in there for me. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Raven. Thank you, Reggie. Thank you all who had listened out there. And just know that no matter what you've done or not done, you're worthy of love. And I hope that people can go to my new song called John's Song on my website. What? I have a new song out. Yep, new song called John's Song. And please go to the website and click it and let people know about it. It's a song about loving yourself just the way you are. And it's really
John, John song. Oh, yeah, my God, I wish I'd known that. I would have told you to play it.
You just showed it on the website. It showed it right on the center of the website when you pulled it up. It's right there.
Okay. We will, John. I don't want to keep you late, but thank you so much. John's song, check him out. And that's John DeMartini. Okay, check out his John song. Check out his movies, everything. In fact, if you like this interview, put it out that you liked it. Go here to replay and put hashtag John Song so people can check it out. High five to you, John.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you. Love you all.
Hugs and kisses. All right. Well, Reggie, I can't let you go. You just made it. Everyone, Reggie is one of my amazing Men of Power radio hosts. Omar, you want to be an amazing man of power? Omar wants to be an amazing man of power, Reggie. He was surprised to find out we had men hosts. What's the one thing you love about being part of Raven's tribe?
It's very inspiring. It's also been very inspiring in my own life. A year ago, I wouldn't have even said me on a radio show, and now I have a program that has, I guess, a 3 out of 5-star rating, and I'm still learning. And I'm kind of shocked, but now I've got a better name for it, and I'm going to call it Beat the Building Inspector, because we all have that within ourselves in life.
I love it. I love it. And now you're going to be bringing it on Blab, because we're going to teach you guys on the 12th. We're going to train you for Blab and Periscope. I've been testing it for you guys and know what works and don't work. So this is exciting. You'll be able to talk to your peeps.
Nice. Yeah, I like this. It's really cool. I've never seen anything like this.
I know. That's why I had to text you to get you on That's Your Man. All right, man, I'm going to close out. Hugs and kisses to you. Thank you so much for being part of my family. You've been there. We're doing it. So look for bigger and better things. Bye-bye. Everyone, thank you for tuning in to Amazing Women and Men of Power, World's leading positive programming network, powered by Raven International. Thank you, Periscopers, for sticking here. Thank you for the hearts. We appreciate it. I know you enjoyed Dr. John Demartini. Thank you, Blabbers that are live and Periscopers that are live and Amazing Women of Power that are live. And thank you for all of you that are listening to the replay. Again, I'm Raven, a talk show maven, known by many as the queen of internet radio conversion. Don't forget get your free icon interview formula that my handsome husband, Khalid Glover, Grammy Award-winning mixing engineer, created for me. So you can get this infographic, and it has an option to get an audio. This is our icon interview formula. It teaches you how to investigate, so you can get them, your icons and heroes and sheroes, to say yes to you interviewing them. It teaches you how to connect with them. Did you notice the connection that John and I have? That's very important. And the connection starts with their publicist, with their manager, because you got to talk to them first. Absolutely. And then they'll pass you on if they think you do a great job. And then you got to own your platform before, during, and after the interview. Own your platform. Don't be shy. Don't say, I got a podcast. You got to speak in power and speak in strength. And get to the nitty gritty. Get to the nitty gritty. If you like this interview, hey, let's retweet it and put out their hashtag Johnson. Hashtag Johnson. Dr. Demartini was amazing. Amazing. He gave such insider secrets. I can't wait to go back to the replay. And Omar and the rest of you that want a free session with me, book it now. I'm getting crazy busy. I want to spend some time and get you to interviewing icons too. To John and his staff, thank you so much, Dr. Demartini, for being on again. To all of you, thank you for coming. I'm Raven, the talk show maven. I am out. Third interview for the day. I'm going to spend some time with my husband and enjoy life. I might pop back on later, see what you guys are scoping about, and because I'm interested in you and get in there and talk to you guys. And maybe later tonight I might pop on and just talk about something inspirational, or maybe I'll do a Q&A if you have questions for me. But more importantly, I just want you to go back and listen to this replay. Listen to Robert C. Stern's replays. Listen to Mark Shaw's replays and all the people we interviewed. Oh, tomorrow we got Kathy Hackle. She's going to talk about Periscope, and we also and social media. We also have, let me see. Oh, we're going to have the CEO from Blab, Sean. He will be here tomorrow. So follow that. I get to be interviewed. I'm in the hot seat on Robert C. Stern's show at 4:30. So do TalkShow Maven and follow me, and especially on Blab, and see what shows I have coming up for tomorrow. Rock your interview talk first thing in the morning. Love, hugs to everybody. Bye-bye.